known to each other, but we did take the opportunity to have about a 25-minute chemistry call this morning. And in that call, I just learned a little bit about Amon's background, his professional background, and learned about his coaching journey so far. We haven't discussed anything about the session this evening. We're just going to come into it as we would normally. But it just, as coaches, we all know the importance of that chemistry meeting and how that helps set us up for success. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. So we have 45 minutes actually, Aman, a little bit longer than I had anticipated, which is great. And I'm going to watch the time if that's okay. So you may
that's perfectly fine.
You may see me looking at my stopwatch on my phone. Okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Let me also put my phone on silent.
Yeah. Let me also do that. I'm on my phone and let me just kind of put it on silent. Yes.
So, as Ashwarya said, I'm an ICF credentialed coach, and I've got the code of ethics. And obviously, confidentiality is a big part of that. Obviously, I will maintain my part of confidentiality because we are in a demonstration. There's boundaries and limits to that code of ethics.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to be recorded. So I just want to make sure you're comfortable with all of that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I know. And I can hear the family in the background. It's tea time.
Yeah, it's in the kids are playing on the terrace, so can't do much about it.
No, it's a lovely sound, the sound of children. Okay, Aman, so let's start. What would you like to put on the table this evening?
Yeah, so Linda, thanks for this opportunity, and thanks to Rajat and everybody in CTT for this opportunity. I was really looking forward to this today. As as we discussed in the afternoon, I just want to take that conversation ahead. This is a point. This is a point in time where I am actually venturing into something new, and this is an entrepreneurship venture that I'm starting up on my own. And I was just a little bit concerned about this is something that I haven't done before. This is going to be something, my first venture on my own for the first time, right? And I was just wondering since the past few days as to how do I need to get myself ready to meet this opportunity and make the most of it. And I thought, let me have a discussion with you on this, and let me check if there are certain changes, if there is something that I need to change in the way I work specifically, which can benefit me going forward in this venture of mine. So I thought, let me take that up in the conversation today.
Okay, so congratulations, your first step in the direction of entrepreneurship.
Thanks a lot.
Exciting times. And you're thinking that you'd like to explore how you need to tee yourself up for that.
Exactly. Yes.
So at the end of our time here, what would be a good outcome for you?
I think a good outcome would be, Linda, so I see this whole conversation going in two parts. First of all, there is a certain way in which I have been working till now. And I just want to first figure out, do I really need to change that or not? That's something that I want to really explore. So that is an answer. It's a clear answer, whether it's yes or no, whether I need to do something differently. And if it emerges that yes, there is something that I need to do differently, maybe a few pointers, 1 or 2 pointers in that direction would be something that I'd be satisfied with at the end of this conversation.
So something about answering the question, first of all, do I need to change or evolve myself?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Some concrete steps or directions.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Even if it's not concrete interventions, like maybe even if it's not very focused action steps, it's fine. But if I'm able to arrive at a certain direction in which I have to move, or maybe a couple of areas where I need to focus more, maybe that is something that I can take up in my other conversations with my peer coaches.
So in your own words, how would you describe that takeaway?
So, as I said, two takeaways. One is a clear yes or a no about the question in terms of do I need to radically evolve or not? Do I need to change something and do something very differently? And the other is one or two areas of specific focus that I would like to work on going forward.
And what makes that significant to you now?
Well, it's significant because, Linda, see, this is, as I said, this is something that I'm doing for the first time. Actually, it's not the first time. I have been involved in a lot of volunteering work where I have almost been like an entrepreneur, but it was never about the financial outcome, right? Volunteering is all about impact. So I have been in that space, but right now it's slightly different. Also, the other thing is that I am at a point in my life where um, I really don't want to look back. This is very important for me to make it right, to make it happen the way I would like to see that happening. Because entrepreneurship is something that's been very close to my heart, and it's something that I was aspiring for a long time. It's just that it's coincided with this whole COVID thing, and we've got a chance to really think about it, stay at home, and really give it a very deep thought. So, considering where I am right now in my life, and also as a working professional, uh, it is very important for me financially also, and as a career progression also. And that's why I think pondering over this question is critical for me.
Hmm. So quite a lot of significance right at this moment. So
Yes.
tell me, who would you like to be as this entrepreneur?
Okay, so two words that are coming to me, Linda: uh, focus and discipline. And the reason, and I kind of bought these words in our conversation earlier also, right? Uh, See, I just feel that uh, focus is the essence of everything that we do, right? And it's see, when you are an entrepreneur, and this is my assumption. Okay, what I'm telling you right now is that when you're an entrepreneur, there are 100 things that you have to look at as compared to when you are an employee, because there the environment creates that focus for you, right? You have a job, you have a clear description, you know what you have to achieve, etc., etc., right? But as an entrepreneur, there could be hundreds of things that could come up. So I feel that focus has got to be a big part of who I am. I need to be a focused person. And the uh, other is discipline. For me, discipline and structure are kind of fall in the same bracket, because as a working person, I'm very unstructured. I i get 100 new ideas in a day, and anybody who calls me, I will give them new ideas. I love doing that. uh, and out of those 100 ideas, I'll be able to work on maybe 5 ideas. But I love that space of thinking and being creative. But I just feel somewhere that for me to really succeed, I need to be more disciplined in terms of how I can kind of balance that creativity and variety of what I do with focus. So focus and discipline are the two words that are kind of coming to me right now.
Focus and discipline.
Yeah.
You seem to suggest are key to the success in your new role.
Uh, I think so. It's my hypothesis. That's what I feel. Yeah.
And what leads you to that hypothesis?
Um, well, it's got to do with two things. One is my own past experience, and the other is also what we've grown up listening to. You know, so from childhood, we've been told that if you are disciplined, you'll be successful. If you're focused, you'll be successful. Uh, and it's also been my experience. By Linda, by focus, I don't mean doing only one thing, but what I mean is that uh, see, as a person, I can't do one thing. It's not in my personality. So if I tell you right now that I'm only going to focus on my venture and nothing else, it may be a complete lie. I'm not going to do that, right? I need to do at least two, three things to keep myself happy and busy. That's who I am, and I know I've realized at this point I can't change that. But I think taking too much on my plate also is a problem for me, which I don't want to do, right? So I've observed for myself that in the past, that whenever I have done things in a focused way, meaning I've not taken too many things on my plate, uh, I have been able to do a decent job there. And also uh, times when I have been more disciplined and where I've been more a little bit more structured, that's the time I tend to get better results. So I think it's a combination of what comes from my past, and also what I it's also a sense. I mean, I honestly, I don't have I don't have data to kind of really verify that, but it's just a sense that I've got. That's all.
Hmm. And what would you attribute your past success to?
Sorry.
What would you attribute your past success to? You're very
Yeah.
successful in your current profession.
I think mm, so. There are a couple of things. I think firstly is um see, whatever I do, and kind of uh, I am somebody who seeks new problems to solve. That's who I am. And every time I find a new problem, I kind of like to put in a lot of energy there. So I think putting in energy is something that really works for me. Uh, the other thing that works for me, Linda, is that see, honestly, I am professionally, I'm a very honest person, and I am very open to seeking help from people, and that's really worked for me, because what I do is, if I have something new to work on or solve, I'll probably be the first person to tell the group that, look, this is a new area, I don't know about this, I need to work with somebody who knows about this, right? And when I do that, what I've seen is that it builds a lot of trust uh, among people.
Mm.
It expressing my vulnerability makes me very strong. Then there's nothing for me to honestly hide, and nothing, there's no mask, or there is no uh, there's no pressure to really be somebody who you're not. This is what it is. And that has really helped me. I mean, I kind of figured that out 4 5 years back. um, my my PhD guide actually made me realize that. And once that happened, I really worked on that, and that's worked phenomenally well for me. So I think, yeah, these two things, I think my ability to put in a lot of energy and focus, and also my ability to work with people in a very humble way and a very authentic way, has really helped me a lot.
So your energy and your authenticity has
Yeah.
brought this point. So I'm just curious to know, how can you draw on those
Yeah.
to be the entrepreneur that you want to be?
So Linda, I'm already working on that, in the sense that uh, as I told you in the morning, this coaching journey has really helped me there, uh, because um, it's kind of brought me very close to, not very close, but it's got me closer to who I want to be. I'm not there yet, but I just feel that it's getting me close, and I think it's a journey. It's never going to end, right? So my sense is that uh, this whole process of being part of this coaching journey, and that's the reason why I am part of this, because uh, it may sound odd to somebody who might just listen to this, saying that okay, you're doing something in the entrepreneurship space which has nothing to do with the coaching piece of it, right? And then you're still kind of wanting to do both. But the fact is that it is all kind of coming in together. So I think uh, a lot of exploration is happening with me. I have a couple of mentors with whom I speak regularly to explore my space of authenticity and honesty there. And also, along with that, the coaching piece has kind of really helped me. So I am primarily looking at this coaching journey to create some synergies between what I want to do as a coach and also how it's going to allow me to build on my strengths that I've kind of already have.
What strikes me, Aman, is that you have a lot of resources at your disposal already. You know, the
Yeah.
coaching program, the mentors, the past success,
Yes. Yes.
the clear vision. I'm wondering about today's call. I'm wondering about what it is you really need us to work
Uh, so I think, Linda, what I've figured out in this conversation of ours till now is that my coaching journey, my experience of the past 2 years specifically, right, has allowed me to kind of build on my strengths. And as I told you, I am fairly clear of at least these two, three things which I think I'm doing well and I want to continue doing well.
on.
But something that I haven't been able to crack till now, I think figure till now out, is this whole piece of so let's put discipline also aside, right? Let's focus on focus. Okay. So I think what I have not been able to work on, and maybe the reason for that is I haven't thought about it deeply. But now, since I'm doing something on my own and there's more on the table, right? uh, I'm kind of thinking about it more deeply now. Is this whole piece of focus?
Yeah.
It's about uh, there is this personality who I am, right? And there is a certain need that personality brings to the table. It's the need to look at more problems. It's the need to think about more ideas. It's the need to be more creative, right? But my new role, I sense, is going to put me in a tight spot, because there also going to be about the opportunity cost, because when I do something, I do it at the cost of something else, right? And this has been my weakness, honestly. I there are a lot of instances where I meet people, and I really get, I mean, there's this flow in which I am, and there are 10 ideas that I give them, and we say, oh, wow, these are super, let's work on these. But then when I go back, I really don't find the time and the energy and the resources to work on those, because I already have so many things. So I think this is a specific thing about my life and my personality that I haven't been able to address through coaching, mainly because I haven't thought about it deeply, because I never needed to. But
Mm.
now where I am, I think that it's important for me to kind of balance this out, the need that I bring as a person and the need that I need to serve as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And I think I want to discuss that more specifically. I think more now that we are like a few minutes into the conversation, I think it's becoming more clearer for
Mm. I love that you said focus on focus. I thought
me.
brilliant. Yeah. So, in the time we have left today,
Yeah.
um, what would be a measure of success for you if we were able to crack this focus on focus?
Hmm. Mm. It's very tempting to say that I want some action points, but to be honest, I don't think it'll work unless the action points are really something new. Because the I mean, what looks to me like is that an action point is, oh, before taking up any project, I'll think about it, right? This I already know about myself. I mean, I know that's what's supposed to be done, but unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. So So it's really difficult, Linda, to say that this is the measure of success. But I would like to be very optimistic, and I know the power of coaching. I have seen that happening, that even within a moment things can change, and there could be a different perspective to looking at a problem than what we would have. So honestly, I am being optimistic, and I want to have a new dimension to focus. But even if that doesn't happen, I still feel that, as I said earlier, right, an action point would be great. But if it's not an action point, at least if it is an area where I can look at, maybe I'll take that up with my mentors and my peer coaches and see how I can take that ahead. So yeah, maybe one or two areas that I need to work upon to build greater focus in my life and balance in my life.
Okay. Now we've added another word, balance.
Yeah. So it's a subset of focus. See, as I said, Linda, there is a personality in me and there's a need of an entrepreneur. I don't want to look at this point. I've realized who I am and things that I cannot change. I cannot be a person who does one thing and just keeps on doing that. That's not who I am. I'm not a happy person when I do it, right? So I need to do a couple of things, but as long as it remains a couple of things, it's fine. The moment it starts becoming 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then it's a problem. So balance is a subset of focus for me.
And would that be part of what we need to explore today?
Uh, I know it that it is a part, but I don't know how to strike that balance. So maybe that how part of it is something that we can explore.
So focus on the focus, perhaps not concrete actions, but kind of maybe an insight or awareness. I think you
Yeah.
suggested would be a good
Yes.
takeaway.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I've noticed a couple of times that you've said, this is who I am, and you become really passionate when you say that, and your body language changes as well.
Yeah.
So this is who I am. Describe that more to me.
Well, I think it's a great observation because it's true. Uh, I feel about it. See, you know, it's just like this, Linda. That typically as you grow up, you've been told that you have to, why do you keep doing 10 things? Look at people who are successful. They just do one thing and they give their heart to it. And we keep hearing things like, don't keep digging 10 wells, just dig one well which is deep enough and stuff like that, right? And this is something which is very alien to me, in the sense that intellectually I feel okay, this is right, but honestly I can't do it. I mean, and whenever I do it, I lose motivation, I lose energy, I just kind of completely resign, and I get so bored with life. So uh, what has happened actually, Linda, is that over the past couple of months or maybe a year or so, I've kind of come to uh, really believe in this thing, this aspect of my personality, not as a weakness but as a strength. And I want to believe that, because I have tried to change a couple of times and it hasn't worked for me. And then somewhere, as I was exploring, I recently, a couple of months back, I went to a T lab also. And there was this whole group process that was happening, the sensitivity labs, and it was a phenomenal experience. I discovered so much about myself there also. So since this thing has been on my mind for some time, and it's something that I've been hearing, that no, it's not a good thing, you have to do only one thing, you have to focus in life, etc., 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 I kind of took it very seriously to discover for myself, is this really true, or can I really live with this? And what I actually figured out, that is actually my strength and I want to be that. However, having said that, I also overdo it, right? And that's where I want to kind of uh, focus on.
The word that comes up for me when I'm listening to you is passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so I always believe in this, Linda, and it's amazing that this word has come to you. Uh, you know, so in the Indian tradition, there is a book called the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a very famous book on yoga. Okay, and one of the aphorisms there is so the teacher there, says that what is the secret to happiness, and the secret according to him is have a high goal and work passionately towards it, right? And I really believe in that, because passion in the present moment gives a lot of happiness, irrespective of what results it gives you. The whole energy piece and the whole desire to do something, you know, uh, the flow that it puts you in,
Yeah.
for me a lot of happiness comes from there.
And what role do you think passion will play in your new venture?
uh, my new venture is about my passion. you know it is just my desire to, okay, so see, I was really bored of dividing work and passion. So this is my work, and I'm going to work till 5, and then after 5 I'm going to do what I'm passionate about, right? And that's a very artificial division for me. I don't like it.
Mm.
So the whole thing for me about entrepreneurship is also about passion. Look, I like to create organizations. I like to create value. uh, I like to create something that people enjoy. I like to contribute to people's lives. And uh, as an employee, you have a lot of limitations on doing that. And that's where, that's where the whole passion piece comes in. And uh, I'm doing this for my passion.
And as you step into your new enterprise,
Yeah.
um, how can you bring more passion into that?
Linda, I think the passion is there. Uh, mm, how can I bring more passion into it is a question that I haven't honestly thought about. Uh, One of the ways in which I'm striving to do that is by bringing in a piece of contribution there, as we spoke earlier briefly, because money is not something that really drives me. I mean, it's important. It's really important, and I've kind of figured that out now. Earlier, I used to be like, oh, money is not important, and it's all materialistic and stuff like that. But I've kind of come to figure out that's not true. But something that really drives me is contribution. Passion and contribution for me are very closely tied. If I see that my work is going to benefit somebody else, I become really passionate about it. And very recently, I have figured out that, like, earlier I used to think it comes from a space of compassion and selflessness. But I've actually realized recently that it also comes from a space of the need for creating an impact, the
Yeah.
need for recognition, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that. If it's come to my awareness, I'm happy about it, because again, that's who I am, right? But it's important to me. Contribution is extremely important. So passion and contribution are very closely tied with my life. And anything that I do, if I'm able to bring in that piece of contribution there, suddenly my passion for that intervention or that work suddenly goes up. My energy goes up, my passion goes up, my involvement goes up.
Yeah. And when I say the word focus to you, where does the
Yeah.
energy go?
Sorry.
When I say the word focus to you, where does the energy go?
uh, so uh, if we look at energy and focus, Linda, I think that because of lack of focus, my energy gets dissipated. right? And it works against me. uh, it's okay if it doesn't have a cost to it, right? But now uh, it has a cost to it, and it's not only financial cost, it is my time, my energy, my life, my money, everything, right? So for me, the balance, the for me, it's energy and focus have to be in balance. If there's too much of focus, I lose my energy. Like focus in a sense, if there's a lot of monotony, I lose my energy. And if there are too many activities, again I lose my energy, right? So for me to uh, find that exact balance of energy optimizing, it's like that, it's like the optimization problem that you learn in statistics,
Yeah.
how do you optimize the energy with the constraints that you have? Yeah, so I think it's about that.
Yeah.
It's also to do with passion, because again, Linda, energy and passion are also related. There are many things I'm passionate about, but I just don't find the energy there because I'm doing 10 things, right? So I think what's coming up for me now is that passion, energy, and focus, right? Kind of these are the three spaces that are kind of opening up for me right now as we talk about.
Yeah. It's kind of coming up like a magic triangle,
Yeah, yeah.
as you say, focus, passion, energy, and then
Yeah,
you even brought the word balance back in.
yeah, I think at the center of it is again, so I think this whole triangle is uh, exists within the circumference of balance, right? It is inside, because within that balance these three are in their optimal condition. The moment the outer circle gets skewed, I mean, the moment the boundaries of the outer circle start expanding, these elements start losing value. So, and at the center of it, I think, is the contribution piece, which is the heart of it.
Wow. You've created a lovely model, like a mental model for yourself.
Yeah, let me quickly note it down.
Take your time.
Yes.
Wow. As you reflect maybe on that, what does it suggest to you is your direction now?
Sorry, I missed you in the last.
Just as you reflect on that
Yeah.
visual model, what does it suggest to you that is your direction, your direction?
Hmm. I think I am as far as these different elements of this model are concerned. Let's start with the centerpiece, right? Contribution is something that I'm clear about. I know what I want to do and how I want to contribute. There are certain areas that I'm really passionate about and I want to work there. I know what gives me energy. I know what I'm passionate about, and I know what allows me to focus and what stops me from focusing, right? And I also know that I need to do certain things to even deepen my attention and focus, and I'm already working on that. So I think the direction is all about that balance, which is the outer circle. Maybe if I can, you know it's like, it's like, I've been juggling all these three balls at different points in my life, and once in a while one of these keep falling down, and it's fine, I just pick it up and I start working again. But I think if I'm able to find that consistency in figuring out how to balance these three well and make them work at the optimal level, That's where I think that's the direction. That's the direction.
Brilliant. We have, I think, about, oh, I've slightly lost track of the time. Let me check on my time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
we have about 6-7 minutes left.
sure,
So I
sure.
want to check in terms of where we are partnering in this conundrum
Yeah,
you brought to the table.
yeah.
How near or how far are you from what you need?
I think Linda, when I started off, there were too many. It was like there were too many things that I was kind of thinking about. But I think now, having at this point in our conversation, I think I am at least quite clear. I'm more focused on what I need to focus on, right? And that's where we started our conversation, right? Focus on focus. And I think um, at this point, I am actually honestly uh, quite happy with the way this conversation has gone and the way kind of the distance that I've been able to travel with you in this short conversation. I think it was fantastic. I'm quite happy and satisfied right now.
And what will be the key, maybe, insight that you can take away and develop now?
I think I think for me, Linda, passion, energy, and focus have always been the words that I use, right? But I haven't really thought about how these three relate to each other, right? Uh, and I think what's been the key for me is the relationship that we've been able to establish in this conversation, and the interdependency. Basically, it's kind of made it very clear for me how they're interdependent, right? And how one affects the other. So that's something that I really love. And of course, the whole model that came up, I love working with models. It gives me a rush, it gives me a high. So unknowingly, if this model has emerged, it's really great. It also provides a lot of food for thought for me to take this conversation ahead with my mentors and my peer coaches. Because the day I just feel that this was a great starting point, and I really need to see where this conversation will take me. And now with this model, I think I'm more equipped to articulate this problem better and talk about it and even think about it for that.
Great. And how might you develop it, following the session? How might you work it further?
Uh, I think uh, I think Linda, what I will try to do is I will go back to the question that you asked me, the first question that you asked me, right? It was about who do I want to be,
Yes.
and I think it's about exploring that. Because to be honest, I know for sure that if I say that, okay, these are the 5 things that I will do to create balance in my life, there's a high possibility I won't do. Okay. So I need to work at the deeper identity level to kind of figure out who I really want to be at the end of this journey. And I just feel that if I'm able to really understand that, then a lot of things will fall in place.
Hmm. And have you any ideas how you could answer that question?
Uh, I'm seeing 2 ways to kind of approach that. Uh, one 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 way is, uh, of course, to discuss this as a coaching conversation with my peers. and that's something that I will definitely do. But I think Linda, that I need to uh, I need to figure out a way of exploring the contribution bit a bit more, because that is the centerpiece,
Yes.
and that seems to be the anchor around which everything else is moving.
Mm.
So I think that identity and contribution together, exploring the way you made me explore energy and focus right today, and passion piece together. I think I just sense that maybe contribution and identity together could probably give me deeper answers to this question.
Mm. Great, great. So where are we now? We're almost at the end. So where are we now?
uh, it was a great session for me. I completely enjoyed it. I started by having a desire to being optimistic and having a desire to know something new, which I think I did get in this session. So it was fantastic.
Great. So you're good to wrap up.
Yeah, I think I'm good to wrap up.
Thank you so much. It's just been my absolute pleasure working with you today. Thank you. And
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
good
lot,
luck
Linda. It
with
was fun.
the future. Take care. We'll hand back to Ashwarya now.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.
Awesome. Awesome, Linda. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful session, such a wonderful session. We actually saw really different flavors of coaching right in action. And thank you, Aman, for being such a very genuine coachy and, really bringing up the things. I will now open the floor for any questions, any discussions that participants would love to have. You can either unmute or you can put it in your chat, whatever is comfortable.
Hi, this is Anurag.
Yes, Anurag, go ahead.
Aman started with the issue, and that's what he was looking for, saying, do I need to radically change the way I work today to be successful in my entrepreneurial venture? I just want to find out from Aman, after this session, did he get a response to what he wanted the session to be focused on?
Yeah, I think I definitely got it, because at some point, although this was not, I mean, for me, although it was not explicitly answered as a yes or a no, uh, by the time we entered the conversation and by the time we started talking about energy, passion, focus, and all those things, I think this question was not important for me. And
Okay.
I'm really happy that maybe Linda just picked that up and she realized that this question is not so important for me. And whatever came at the end of the conversation, in a way answered that, because I know now that I need to work on balance, and I know I need to work on the identity piece and the contribution piece of it. So in a way it got answered, but I'm pretty happy with the way the outcome came. So as a coach, I'm happy about it.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So the same question to Linda.
Yeah.
So the question specifically that Aman wanted, and at the end of the session, what he wanted to take away was an answer to this question, whether or not he needs to radically change the way he works. So I'd like to get your perspective on why was this not a specific question that you progressed with to answer for him?
I think that was his starting point. And I remember checking the time, and at about minute 22, it seemed to me that we recontracted. And I asked him, you know, is this where you want to move the conversation to now? And what would be the new measure of success? And if you remember, he let go. He said, oh, well, that discipline thing doesn't matter anymore. And he did bring in the word balance, and then he let go of that. So I think there were maybe 3 different contracts within that conversation. But by minute 22, we had shifted his focus. It was at the point where he said, let's focus on focus. That was where, in my view, the client had changed what he wanted. But I would always be advised by the client whether that was correct or not.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Aman.
Can I ask a question, please?
Linda?
Yes, please, Vandana, go ahead.
Yeah, so this question is to the coachee, really. So there was a time when he mentioned, I think once or twice, about how he likes to do things, that he's not happy doing one thing. He likes to do 2, 3 or many things. At that point of time, I felt there was an opening, and a question on that, would that have helped him?
So I don't know whether it would have helped me or not. All I can say is that, and this completely in hindsight, I really don't know whether it would have helped me or not. But what I sense right now is that that's a part of me which I have already figured out. And I think Linda pointed that out because she sensed, I was saying that this is who I am, and she sensed that, right? So the way I look at this conversation and this particular piece was that me being a person who likes to do multiple things is something that I've figured out for myself. And that's something that I am really passionate about, and I have invested a lot in that. And that's something that I don't want to change about myself. What I wanted to change about myself was not doing too many things together. And that's where I think the word balance came out of me. And that's where Linda caught it. So I think the essence of the conversation was not really about me doing many things, because I've already decided to do that. The essence was, how do I strike a balance between doing too many things, which I love to do, and at the same time achieving results and focus in what my new role is going to demand from me. And I think when Linda picked that word balance, for me, that was really it was an important moment, a milestone in the conversation.
So, Linda, Anil here, Anil Kulkarni. You know, for me, the whole thing of the model, when you came in, that little triangle and the balance in between and all that, that was a very clear shift. But how did that just come up for you? Because I don't think he used the triangle and the model word earlier, but it was very intuitive. Just curious to know, how did that come up, Linda?
It just came, he said 3 words. He said, oh, these are the 3 words. And for good or for bad, immediately I went like that.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, and it has this around it, and it has this in the middle. So he built on this, when I did that, into a model. I don't think I suggested the model to him. He gave the 3 words, and I went like that, and it kind of evolved from there. And it seemed to really, I don't know, I'll go back to Anam on that, but he said afterwards, oh, I really like models. So
yeah, exactly.
That created a kind of an understanding or a coherence for him. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, his whole approach really changed, because he says, I love models, and he wrote it down, and you know, all that thing happened.
And there are many other people who are complimenting on the same piece, Linda, wherein they really love the metaphor that you used in creating a model. You just came up with a triangle piece. So there's a lot of people who are actually commenting. I'm not sure if you can see the chat, but people are really, really love the piece of building a triangle and, you know, taking the coaching from there.
And, everybody loves models. I know for sure. So I'm sure everybody loved that piece.
And Ashwarya, can I say something?
Sure, please.
Yeah, hi, Puneet here. And that was such a great turning point in the discussion, post which he spoke about the entire piece right from the balance and also came to the contribution in the center, which then he correlated with identity at the end. So that was an amazing aha moment for me as a coach to witness him actually relate the bigger question as to who he wants to be, the identity piece, and bring it back to contribution in the center of the triangle. I think, Linda, you were a maverick today.
Yeah, I think,
And
Punit, you're right.
yeah,
It was a much bigger question than a yes or no. I mean, it was, my sense is it was just all about pure potential, about who he can be and who he wants to be.
yeah.
And
And
of course,
congratulations, Aman. Yeah, the way you picked up from that triangle and the way you were flowing after that. Thanks.
Thanks.
Would that also, and I'm being a devil's advocate here, would that amount to leading him, demonstrating that triangle and saying, okay, these are the three vertices of the triangle? Would that be leading?
Is that the question to me or Linda?
That's a question to Linda.
as I recall it, the words were his, and the metaphor I built from just the three words instinctively. I'm not sure it was leading, but you know, direct communication at mastery level would allow you do an intervention like that. But I'm happy to hear what other people think.
Linda, I think I'm not sure about it, and maybe we'll have to look at the recording. But when I was talking about the three words, I gestured as if they were in the triangle. Like I didn't make the triangle like this, but I said I can look at three things, and I did this.
Yes, I think you did.
I think so. I think so. Because I was also seeing a triangle. I just didn't put the word.
Yeah.
So Pat says,
yeah, can I say something?
Pat says it was offered and it landed for the client. Very, very right. Very rightly put in, Pat. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
somebody was saying? Yeah, Gloria.
Yes, I don't think it was leading. I think, Linda just demonstrated that metaphor. And when she demonstrated that metaphor, it deepened his learning. And, he now added, the circle, which was, I think he was referring to the circle as, what was it? It was like balance for him, where you have contribution at the center, you have, focus, passion, and energy being the triangle, right? So when she demonstrated that triangle, it just deepened his learning and he added on to it. That's what I saw.
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. Linda, I have a question. And I was curious about this question right from the beginning. So you started your conversation with an identity question. And usually we see an identity question coming up in the coaching sessions much later. So what was it that prompted you to start your coaching conversation with an identity question?
It just felt right to me in the moment. You know, I just work off coaching presence all the time. And Anam seemed to me someone who's very deep and reflective. And it just seemed to me that he wasn't asking a yes or no question, that there was something else behind it. And it just seemed right to ask it. But had it not landed with him, I would have changed tack. It seemed to land with him.
That's where he picked up the thread again towards the end that, I need to go and figure out that piece.
He came back to that, interestingly, yeah. I don't know, again, I'd be open to what others saw.
So Deepak thanks Linda. Deepak has a question. Deepak.
Hi Linda, thanks for a beautiful session. Lots of learnings every moment. During the conversation, I saw one point wherein you shared your observations when you said I am, like you was using the statement, I am what I am. You shared that with lots of passion, he's been doing it. And then the coach Aman responded saying that, yes, it's a great observation. So do you think that was when the awareness or the presence started coming in later on during the entire conversation? Any thoughts on that? I felt that was a wow moment for me.
Was that where I said the word that comes up for me is passion? Was that moment?
Yes, yes. I recollect so.
Yeah. And that again is direct communication, and again at mastery level, we're encouraged to do quite direct stuff at times. And it seemed to land, again, it's always about, does it land with the client? And it seemed to, he picked up on that word, and it seemed, he said, yeah, that's how I describe myself. And so I think it would only have worked if it landed right. If it hadn't landed with him, the conversation would have gone in a different direction, I'm sure. But thanks for that, Deepak.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, Linda, I'm very cognizant of the time, and wonderful, amazing session. Everybody has thoroughly enjoyed the session, as I can see from the comments that are there in the chat, and people are really, really appreciating. Any other questions, if anybody has, they can write me offline, and I will take it with Linda offline. I have put in the link for your CCUs in the chat box, if you can see that. I would request you to copy this link for the form, and you can submit the form in 24 hours. And thanks once again, Aman. It is really courageous, and it needs a brave heart to be a coachee in the open session in front of 100 participants. And
I was actually quite comfortable. There are a lot of people who are messaging me privately. You've been really brave, but I really don't think so. I just love the conversation. Thanks a lot, Aishwarya, for the opportunity, and thanks, Linda. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Amazing, Linda. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Good evening, everybody from the United Arab Emirates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thanks, Aman. Thank you, Aishwarya.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.